Imagine this, you're sitting in a cafe, and beside you, two people are speaking perfect English. You want to join the conversation. You understand almost everything they say, but your tongue feels heavy, your heart beats fast, and you stay silent. You smile, but inside, you wish you could speak with the same confidence. Have you ever felt like that? Most English learners have. It's not about grammar or vocabulary, it's about fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of sounding strange. But today, we'll break that fear together. Let's take a deep breath. Now say this with me: I can speak English. I am learning. I am improving every day. Repeat it slowly. Feel those words, they are true. Fear is not your enemy. It's a sign that you care, you want to do well, you want to be understood, and you want to connect. That's beautiful. But fear should never control you. Many people believe confidence comes from perfect English, but that's not true. Confidence comes from action. It comes from speaking even when you're not ready. It comes from trying again after you make a mistake. Let me tell you a short story. There was a young woman named Anna. She moved to Canada for work, but her English was very basic. Every time she tried to speak, her coworkers smiled politely and said, "Sorry, what did you say?" That sentence hurt her deeply. She stopped talking in meetings, stopped joining conversations, and started to feel invisible. One day, her manager invited her to lunch and said kindly, "Anna, your ideas are great. Don't let fear keep them inside you." That day, Anna made a promise to speak up once every day, even if she made mistakes. The first time, her voice trembled. The second time, she forgot some words. But after 1 month, people started listening. After 3 months, she began leading small projects. After a year, she was teaching other newcomers how to communicate at work. Her English wasn't perfect, but her courage was powerful. Now, let me ask you, have you ever stopped yourself from speaking because you thought your English wasn't good enough? Think about that moment. What stopped you? Grammar, pronunciation, or fear of what others might think? Say it out loud. Yes, say it. Naming your fear is the first step to defeating it. When you speak, you are not just using English words. You are expressing your thoughts, your ideas, your emotions. You are sharing who you are, and that matters more than any perfect sentence. Let's try a small exercise together. I'll say a sentence, and you repeat after me, okay? I am not afraid of making mistakes. I learn from every conversation. English is my tool, not my test. Excellent. Every time you repeat positive sentences like these, your brain starts to build confidence. Here's a little truth that many teachers forget to tell you. Every fluent speaker you admire once spoke with fear. Yes, even native speakers sometimes worry about sounding smart or clear. The difference is, they speak anyway. I remember my friend Omar, who came from Egypt. When he first arrived in the UK, he told me, "My biggest fear is when people laugh because I say something wrong." I told him, "Omar, they're not laughing at you. They're laughing because they understood you." That means communication happened. That moment changed how he saw speaking. He realized that laughter, questions, or corrections weren't insults. They were signs of connection. From then on, he started to enjoy talking to people, and his English improved faster than ever. So how do you begin speaking without fear? Start small. You don't need to give a speech. You just need to take one step each day. Order your coffee in English. Introduce yourself to someone online. Record yourself talking about your day. Listen to your voice and smile. That voice is your power. When fear says, "You can't do this," answer back, "I'm learning," and that's enough. Let's practice again. Repeat after me. I can learn. I can grow. I can speak. Beautiful. You see, fear disappears not when you become perfect, but when you keep moving through it. Just like a child learning to walk, you fall, you get up, and you keep going. No baby ever said, "I'm not good enough to walk." So why should you say, "I'm not good enough to speak"? I want you to imagine a future version of yourself, a confident English speaker. You're at an airport, talking easily to the staff. You're laughing with friends from different countries. You're watching English movies and understanding the jokes. That version of you exists. It's not far away. It's waiting for you to practice without fear. And remember, speaking English isn't about impressing people. It's about connecting with them. It's about sharing your thoughts, your culture, your humor, your dreams. The world needs your voice, exactly as it is right now. Here's another small tip: when you make a mistake, don't stop. Keep talking. People care more about your message than your grammar. If you forget a word, describe it another way. If you pronounce something wrong, smile and continue. That's how real communication works. Even native speakers forget words or say things incorrectly. It's normal. Repeat after me. Mistakes help me grow. I speak to connect, not to impress. Yes, I can. You're doing great. Every time you speak, you are training your confidence muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So, let's make a small promise right now. Promise yourself that from today, you will not let fear stop you from speaking English. You might speak slowly, you might make errors, but you will speak, because silence will never teach you English. Speaking will. You're not alone in this journey. Millions of learners around the world are practicing every day just like you. You are part of a big, brave family of learners who are all trying, failing, learning, and growing. And if one day you feel discouraged, remember Anna's story. She didn't wait for perfect English. She spoke bravely, one sentence at a time. You can do the same. Your voice matters, your story matters. And your English, right now, exactly as it is enough to start connecting with the world. Now take a deep breath and say this proudly: I can speak English without fear. When we talk about speaking English without fear, we often imagine that confident people are just born that way. But that's not true. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes, and you can start building it today. Let's think about something simple. When you first learned to ride a bicycle, did you fall? Of course you did. Everyone does. But did you stop? No. You got up, tried again, and one day you were riding smoothly without even thinking about balance. Speaking English works exactly the same way. You'll fall sometimes, you'll make mistakes, but soon it will feel natural. Now, let me tell you a story about a man named Ravi. He moved from India to Australia to study computer science. On his first day at university, he was excited but also nervous. His classmates spoke English quickly, using slang and phrases he didn't understand. When he tried to speak, they nodded politely but moved on to another topic. Ravi went home and felt frustrated. He thought, maybe I should just stay quiet. But deep inside, he knew he wanted more. So, he made a decision. Every day he would speak at least 5 English sentences aloud, even if no one was there to listen. He started talking to himself in the mirror. Hello, my name is Ravi. How are you today? He practiced conversations he might have at school or in a shop. He repeated phrases from movies and YouTube videos. At first, it felt silly, but after a few weeks something changed. His tongue started moving more easily. His pronunciation got clearer. His confidence grew. One day, a classmate invited him to lunch, and for the first time, Ravi joined in the conversation without overthinking every word. He laughed, joked, and shared his ideas. And guess what? People listened. That's the secret. Confidence comes from practice, not perfection. Now, I want you to do what Ravi did. Wherever you are right now, speak one simple English sentence aloud. Maybe say, I'm listening to this podcast to improve my English. Or, I'm becoming a confident English speaker. Go ahead, say it out loud. Yes, really. Your voice needs to hear you. Good, you did it. That's progress. One of the biggest reasons people fear speaking is because they compare themselves to others. They think, that person speaks better than me, or I'll sound stupid. But comparison is a thief. It steals your motivation. The truth is, everyone's English journey is different. Some people learn faster, some slower, but what matters is consistency. If you keep showing up every day, You will improve. Let's take another deep breath together. Now say this: I don't compare. I continue. Excellent. Here's a small trick that can help you speak more freely. Use simple English. Many learners try to sound advanced by using big words, but that often causes hesitation and mistakes. You don't need fancy vocabulary to communicate. You just need clarity. Imagine you want to say, I'm feeling extremely exhausted after completing a difficult task. You could simply say, I'm really tired after hard work. Both mean the same thing. Simple is powerful. Repeat after me. Simple English is strong English. When you speak simply and clearly, people understand you better, and that builds your confidence. Now, let's talk about mindset. Many learners think speaking English is about showing knowledge, but it's really about sharing ideas. You're not performing, you're communicating. The moment you stop trying to sound perfect and start trying to connect, fear loses its power. Here's a small exercise you can do every day. It's called 3-Minute English. Pick any topic, your day, your favorite food, your dreams, and talk about it in English for 3 minutes. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't stop to think too much. Just speak. When the timer ends, smile and say, I did it. If you do this daily, you'll start noticing big changes in your fluency. Now, let's practice some positive speaking sentences. Repeat after me. I speak English to share my ideas. My English gets better every time I practice. I enjoy speaking, even when it's not perfect. Perfect. Keep repeating those every day. They train your brain to feel safe when you speak. Let me tell you another story about Mei from China. She loved learning English but hated speaking in class. One day, her teacher asked her to read aloud. Her hands were shaking, her voice was trembling, and she wanted to disappear. After class, her teacher said, Mei, I can see you're scared. But you know what? Every time you speak, your fear becomes smaller. From that day, Mei made a deal with herself. Every time she felt scared, she would smile and speak anyway. In 1 month, she volunteered to read a paragraph. In 3 months, she gave a short talk about her hometown. In 1 year, she was leading English discussions at her university. You see, courage doesn't mean you don't feel afraid. Courage means you speak even while you're afraid. So, the next time you feel nervous, take a deep breath and whisper to yourself, it's okay to be scared. I'll speak anyway. Let's repeat it together. It's okay to be scared. I'll speak anyway. Every word makes me stronger. Great. Now here's something interesting. Your body language also affects your confidence. When you sit or stand tall, breathe deeply, and smile, your brain feels more positive. Try it right now. Sit up straight, lift your chin, and say, I can do this. Feel the energy. That's confidence being built from the inside out. You don't need perfect grammar to make a connection. You need energy, emotion, and a willingness to communicate. Imagine talking to a child. Do you worry about using perfect words? No. You just want them to understand you. That's how communication works. It's about connection, not competition. Another helpful idea is to think in English as much as possible. When you're cooking, think, I'm cutting the vegetables. When you're walking, say, the weather is nice today. This habit reduces the time you spend translating and helps you speak faster and more naturally. Remember, fluency is not about speaking fast, it's about speaking smoothly and confidently. So, here's your challenge for today. After listening to this, record a 1-minute audio in English. Talk about your morning, your goals, or what you learned from this lesson. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Listen to it later and say, that's my progress. Every small step counts. If fear still whispers, what if I fail? Answer back, what if I succeed? Because you will. Say it now. I am becoming a confident English speaker. One of the most beautiful things about learning English is that it opens the door to the world. You can meet people from different countries, read inspiring stories, watch movies, listen to podcasts, and express yourself in ways that connect with others deeply. But to enjoy all these things, you must learn to let go of fear. You must stop worrying about how you sound and start focusing on what you're saying. Think about it this way: when a baby learns to talk, no one expects them to be perfect. Everyone smiles when they say new words, even if they're not clear. That's how you should treat yourself. Be patient. Celebrate small progress. Every sentence you speak, even a simple one, is a victory. Let me share another story. This one is about Diego from Brazil. He loved football and wanted to join an international sports club. But during his interview, he froze. The interviewer asked simple questions, but Diego's mind went blank. Later he told me, "I knew all the answers, but I couldn't say them. My fear stopped my words." After that day, Diego promised himself to face his fear directly. Every morning, he stood in front of a mirror and practiced short answers to simple questions. What's your name? Where are you from? Why do you love football? He said them again and again until they felt natural. 3 months later, he applied for another club. This time, he smiled, relaxed, and spoke confidently. He didn't use perfect grammar, but he showed his passion, and he got accepted. Do you know what he told me after that? He said, "Fear doesn't disappear. You just get stronger than it." That's the truth. Fear doesn't vanish suddenly. It becomes smaller when you take action. Now, let's do a short speaking practice together. I'll say a sentence, and you repeat after me. I am stronger than my fear. I can express myself clearly. I speak because my voice matters. Perfect. Remember, the more you speak, the more natural it becomes. Another thing that helps you speak without fear is learning to listen. Yes, listening is part of speaking. When you listen carefully to others, you learn patterns, rhythm, and pronunciation naturally. Try to listen to English every day, not as a study task but as a part of your life. Watch short videos, listen to podcasts, or talk to yourself in English about what you heard. Here's a little exercise after listening to someone speak in English. Repeat 1 or 2 sentences they said. Try to copy their tone and rhythm. This helps your mouth and brain get used to English sounds. Over time, your fluency will improve automatically. Now, think of your favorite English phrase or quote. Maybe something that inspires you. Say it aloud. Feel how it sounds. Language isn't just communication, it's emotion. When you speak words that have meaning to you, you sound more confident because your heart is involved. Let's take a moment to talk about mistakes again. Mistakes are not the opposite of success, they are part of success. Every confident speaker you admire has made thousands of mistakes. They just don't hide them. When you make a mistake, don't say, "I'm bad at English." Instead, say, "That's one step closer to improvement." Say it with me, "Mistakes help me grow." Every mistake is a lesson. I'm improving every day. Excellent. Now, let's look at one more reason people fear speaking: negative experiences. Maybe someone laughed at you once. Maybe a teacher corrected you too harshly. Or maybe you compared yourself to others and felt small. Those memories can stay in your mind and make you afraid to speak again. But remember this: one bad experience doesn't define you. You are not your past mistakes. You can start fresh right now. Let me tell you about Sarah, a nurse from Turkey. She once gave a presentation in English, and halfway through, she forgot her words. She felt embarrassed and wanted to quit learning, but her colleague said something powerful. "Sarah, you didn't fail. You just practiced in public." That sentence changed her life. She started joining English discussion groups online. Each time she spoke, she felt more comfortable. Now she trains other nurses to communicate with patients from around the world. You see, your fear is not a wall. It's a door. And every time you speak, you're pushing that door open a little more. Here's something else you can do: change your inner voice. Many learners tell themselves, "My English is bad," or "I always forget words." But your brain listens to your thoughts. So, instead of criticizing yourself, encourage yourself. Before you speak, say, "I'm doing my best," or "I can communicate clearly." Positive self-talk works like magic. It makes your brain feel safe, and fear loses its strength. Let's try it together. Repeat these sentences. I am proud of my progress. I speak English with confidence. I am not perfect, but I'm improving. Beautiful! Now, let's talk about one of the biggest secrets fluent speakers know. It's okay to pause. Many learners think they must speak fast to sound fluent, but that's not true. Pausing helps you think, breathe, and sound more confident. Native speakers pause all the time. Try saying, "Let me think," or "That's a good question." These small phrases give you time to organize your thoughts. Repeat after me. It's okay to pause. I speak slowly and clearly. My English sounds natural. Perfect. Another practical tip: record yourself regularly. When you listen to your own voice, you'll notice things you didn't before, like how you pronounce certain words or how your tone sounds. Don't judge yourself, just notice. Then, next time, try to improve one small thing. That's how professionals grow, by observing and adjusting little by little. Now, think of something you love talking about. It could be your favorite food, your family, your job, or your dreams. Start speaking about it in English, even if no one is listening. When you talk about something you love, your energy replaces your fear. Passion makes your words flow naturally. Here's a sentence to repeat. I speak with passion and confidence. My ideas are valuable. I enjoy using English. Great! I want you to remember something very important. Your English is not a test score. It's a bridge to the world. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to connect. Each time you speak, you build a small bridge between your world and someone else's. That's something to be proud of. You are learning a global language, one that lets you share your story with millions of people. Don't let fear stop you from crossing that bridge. Repeat after me one last time for this section. My English connects me to the world. I speak with confidence. I believe in myself. Let's start this part with something powerful to remember. You are not learning English to impress people. You are learning it to express yourself. Every time you speak, you are giving the world a small piece of your story, your heart, and your truth. And that's something no one else can give. Think about your favorite person who speaks English, maybe an actor, teacher, or YouTuber. When you listen to them, do you notice every small grammar rule they follow? Probably not. You focus on how they make you feel, the message they share, and the confidence in their voice. That's what communication is about. Feeling, not perfection. Now, imagine this. You're standing in front of a group of people, maybe your classmates, colleagues, or friends. You're about to say something in English. Your heart starts racing. You can feel the fear rising. But then, you take a deep breath, smile, and say your first sentence. People listen. They nod. They smile back. And suddenly, you realize something magical. Nothing bad happened. You spoke, they listened, and you survived. That's how confidence grows, moment by moment. Let's repeat this together. I speak to express, not to impress. My words have value. I can do this. Perfect. Now, let's talk about one of the most important steps to speaking without fear. Practice with people who make you feel safe. Surround yourself with positive energy. If someone laughs at your mistakes or makes you feel small, they don't deserve to be your learning partner. Choose friends, teachers, or online communities where you feel supported. Confidence grows faster in a kind environment. I remember a learner named Noura from Saudi Arabia. She joined an online English group, but every time she made a mistake, someone corrected her in a harsh way. She started avoiding the group and lost motivation. Later, she found another online group where people encouraged each other with kindness. Every week, they practiced speaking about fun topics like travel, dreams, and culture. Within 3 months, Nora's confidence skyrocketed. She told me, "It's not just practice, it's the feeling that I belong." That's exactly it. You need to feel safe to grow. So, take a moment now and think, who in your life supports your English journey? Who makes you feel comfortable speaking? Say their names in your mind. Maybe it's a teacher, a friend, or even yourself. Surround yourself with that kind of energy. Now let's practice a few more confidence-building phrases. Repeat after me. I deserve to speak. I am brave. I can share my thoughts clearly. Excellent. You can also use English in ways that feel natural and enjoyable. Watch a movie and repeat your favorite lines. Sing along with English songs. Write short journal entries about your day. Record small daily updates like, "Today I learned this word," or "Today I spoke with confidence." When English becomes part of your daily life, fear has no space to grow. Let's do a mini challenge right now. Think of one person you'd like to speak English with, maybe online, at work, or in your community. Imagine the conversation. What would you say first? Maybe, "Hi, how are you today?" Or, "I've been practicing my English." Now, speak those words aloud right now. Don't wait for the real moment. Practice prepares your mind for confidence. Beautiful. Another secret to speaking without fear is focusing on connection, not correction. When you talk to someone, pay attention to their reaction, their emotions, their interest. If they smile or respond, that means you're communicating successfully. If they correct you kindly, say, "Thank you," and keep going. Corrections are not insults. They're gifts that help you improve. Let me tell you a quick story about a man named Luis from Mexico. He worked at a hotel and always feared talking to international guests because he might say something wrong. One day, a guest asked him for directions, and Luis tried his best to explain. He mixed up some words, but the guest smiled and said, "Your English is great. Thank you." That small moment gave Luis the courage to speak more often. Within a year, he was promoted to the front desk because of his communication skills. See? One small act of courage can change everything. Repeat after me. One small step builds big confidence. I am not afraid to try. I can speak with kindness and courage. Excellent. Here's something you can practice every morning. Stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself, smile, and say, "Good morning. I'm ready to speak English today." It might sound simple, but this habit rewires your brain. You start your day believing you can, and when you believe, you act differently. You walk taller, you speak louder, and you feel prouder. Remember, your voice has power. Your story has meaning, and the world is waiting to hear it. Let's imagine your future for a moment. You're traveling abroad, meeting people from different countries, and speaking comfortably in English. You're not translating in your head anymore. You're thinking in English, feeling confident, and expressing your ideas freely. You laugh, you share stories, and you make friends from all over the world. That's not a dream. It's your direction. Every word you practice today brings you closer to that future. Now, I want to share one more short story. A young man named Amir once told me, "I feel like my English is stuck. I've studied for years but still can't speak well." I asked him, "How often do you speak?" He looked down and said, "Almost never." That's the problem many learners face. They study a lot but don't use English. You can't learn swimming by reading about it. You have to get in the water. It's the same with speaking English. The only way to get better is to speak more, even if you're scared. Say this with me. I learn by speaking. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm getting better every day. Perfect. You're doing amazing. Before we move to the final part, let's remind ourselves of what we've learned so far. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means go forward with courage. Mistakes don't mean failure. They mean growth. And speaking English isn't about sounding perfect. It's about connecting with people, sharing ideas, and enjoying the journey. Let's finish this section with strong affirmations. Repeat after me slowly and confidently. I believe in myself. My voice is important. I speak English with confidence and joy. You've come such a long way. You've learned that speaking English without fear isn't about perfection. It's about courage. It's about showing up, speaking up, and not giving up. The final step in your journey is to truly believe that you belong in the world of English speakers. You don't need permission to speak. You already have the right. When you started learning English, Maybe you dreamed of talking easily with people from around the world. Maybe you wanted to study abroad, get a better job, or simply watch a movie without subtitles. All those dreams are possible. But the most powerful change happens not outside of you, but inside your mind. Once you stop thinking, "I can't," and start saying, "I can try," your fear begins to fade. So, let's practice that mindset together. Repeat after me: I can try. I can learn. I can speak. That's how everything begins, with a small try repeated every day. Now, let's talk about how to keep growing after this podcast ends. The key is consistency. You don't have to study for hours every day. Even 10 minutes of focused speaking or listening can make a big difference. You can record yourself reading aloud, join English chat groups, or talk to friends online. You can even think out loud in English while doing simple tasks like cooking or cleaning. Make English your daily companion. Here's a simple plan that many successful learners follow. Day 1, speak about your morning routine. Day 2, describe your favorite memory. Day 3, talk about what inspires you. Day 4, explain a skill you know well. Day 5, share your opinion on a simple topic. By the end of 1 week, you'll have practiced many useful sentences and built a stronger voice. Now, let's take a moment to imagine your progress. Think back to the first time you tried to speak English. Maybe you were shy or nervous. But look at you now. You've listened, repeated, and practiced all the way through this session. That's real progress. You should be proud of yourself. Say this with me: I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm grateful for my journey. I'm excited to keep improving. Beautiful. Here's something important to remember: confidence is not built overnight. It's built in small moments. Each time you speak, even if your voice shakes, one day, you'll look back and realize you're doing what once scared you. That's the quiet power of progress. Let me tell you a story to end with. A story about hope. There was a man named Daniel who worked in a small store in Colombia. He loved helping tourists but avoided talking to them because of his accent. One day, a traveler from Canada came in and asked for directions. Daniel hesitated but decided to help in English anyway. His words came slowly, but the traveler smiled and said, "Thank you. Your English is great." Daniel felt a wave of happiness. From that day on, he spoke to every tourist he met. Some days he made mistakes, but every conversation made him braver. After a year, he was hired at a travel agency because of his communication skills. Daniel once said, "I didn't wait to feel confident. I spoke until I became confident." That's your reminder. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start now. The more you speak, the more your confidence will grow naturally. Let's practice one last round of affirmations together. Repeat them slowly, clearly, proudly. I speak English with confidence. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. My words can inspire others. I belong in this global conversation. I'm ready to use my English every day. Wonderful. You are now part of a global community of learners who are all walking the same path. People who speak with courage, learn from mistakes, and believe in their voices. Whenever you feel afraid, remember this: every confident speaker once stood exactly where you are now. Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel gratitude for how far you've come and excitement for where you're going. English is no longer just a subject you study. It's a language you live. You can speak English without fear because your voice matters. The world needs your ideas, your laughter, your kindness, and your stories. Don't hide them. Share them. And whenever you doubt yourself, come back to this message. Listen again. Repeat the words. Remind yourself that progress is made by speaking, not by waiting for perfection. Now smile, breathe, and say this one last time: I can speak English without fear, because you can, and you will.